Hello, my friends. I would like to talk today about apocalyptic changes or earth changes. Many people are very passionate on that subject nowadays. Everybody has his own opinion, so here is my own contribution. I am bringing my own understanding to the table today. And I believe that my perspective is also a biblical perspective. Let us first begin with this word apocalyptic. The word apocalyptic comes from the Greek word apokalypto, that consists of two words, apo and kalypto. Apo meaning away from, and kalypto is cover. So this is like away from the cover. So, uncovering the truth, this is the meaning of this word apocalyptic, or making the truth of life manifest. There is no negativity in this word apocalyptic. Early Christian communities, they created all those apocalyptic writings not to terrify themselves, not to add any negativity to their experience, not to add any additional fear factor. They were terrified enough. They were martyred. They were persecuted. So they created all those writings to lift up the spirit, to see the good future, the good truth, for those who believe in Christ, to be hopeful, to build up faith, to lift up the hearts of the people. This is the only function, frankly, of this word apocalyptic, to lift up the spirit of the people by showing them that this connection to God grants them good future, good outcome. So, with this understanding of the word apocalyptic, let us try to understand more. I will just share with you a few characteristics of those apocalyptic changes and apocalyptic writings as well. The first one is very obvious, but we have to remember this always. God is always in charge of any change on our planet. Always. Nothing escapes God's laws. Nothing happens outside of God's universe. Nothing happens outside of God's laws. Every single change happens always inside of God's laws, inside of God's universe. And God organizes everything in a way that those who believe in Him may always profit, may always create a good future for themselves, for their families. So God is always in charge of every single change. His laws are always operational. Even evil spirits, they live within of God's universe. They do not go outside. It is impossible. They live within God's laws, and they will face the consequences of their evil choices. So let us smile and let us say to ourselves, God is in charge of this day today. Whatever happens, God is in charge. The second thing about those apocalyptic changes, quite obvious also, is that the goal of all those changes is not another war or destruction. The goal is not famine. The goal is not killing big amount of human beings. The goal is only one, and this goal is very simple: the establishment of a normal relationship between God and His creation. This is the only goal of any single change on our planet. And when everything comes back to this norm, the life will flourish once again. Because we have to admit that we human beings, we have changed our environment to the point that it may not even be sustainable. We have changed our social structure of life in a negative way. So everything works towards God. God is the real goal, nothing else. With this in mind, let us talk about the third characteristic of every single change. And it may be quite confrontational. Every single negative change does not come from God. All those negativities that we see on the planet, wars, destruction, famine, children dying, weather manipulation, whatever is there happening, all that stuff does not come from God. All those things are the consequences of human sinful decisions, as well as they are consequences of the manipulation of evil spiritual entities. God has nothing to do with that stuff. And we, human beings, who created planet with all those problems, we should take full responsibility for all those problems. In God, once again, there is no darkness at all. This is John the Evangelist in one of his letters. In God there is only goodness. And the way God connects to us, He connects to us not because we are in war, because there is war in Ukraine and Russia, in Israel. This is not why God connects. God connects because there is still some goodness in us, some light on our planet, some morality in human beings. So let us not go to this kind of false interpretation that God creates wars or disasters. No, God does not. Those negativities, they cannot, it is illogical for them to come from God. What comes from God is goodness, is light, is love, is truth. So you losing your wealth or you dying is not God's punishment, is not God's wrath. This is the consequence or the consequences of your sinful decisions. That's how it is. And all those negative changes, once again, they operate also within God's laws. So they are under God's laws as well. And it may take years, but because they are under God's laws, they will cease to exist. Maybe even thousands of years, but they will cease to exist. All those negativities. They have no place in God's universe. So let us understand that once again, negativities, they do not come from God. They are the consequences of human sinful decisions, beginning with Adam and Eve. And the last point, number 4. All those earth changes and timing about those changes. Everybody nowadays likes to talk about years and days of those changes. Everybody is a prophet. It will happen next year. Okay. Time and timing, those things belong to God alone. We do not know. anything that we talk about in terms of certain dramatic days or years, or we try to religiously appoint some year or some day for those changes to happen, anything like that is a human speculation and manipulation of human history. It has nothing to do with the truth. In fact, the truth is different. Those apocalyptic changes, they have been happening in every single year throughout the history of humanity. For the last 6,000 years on that planet, every single year, believe me, something apocalyptic happened. So we can risk the statement that apocalyptic or earth changes happen all the time. So let us go away from this some kind of, obsession with timing. Every single change, negative or positive, will go always beyond any religiously appointed day or year. That's the truth about the timing. Only God knows the time. So let's stop speculating on that matter. I'm showing you those 4 very simple things today. That God is always in charge, that God is the goal, that all those negativities are coming from human beings, not from God, and that time belongs to God and changes happen all the time. I am showing you that because I guess I wanna you to see in all those changes and in apocalyptic writings what early Christians saw, a good outcome for those who believe in God. I want to lift up your hearts. There is nothing to be afraid of. You cannot make fear or anger or war or disaster your guide. These are not your guides. God is your guide. Love is your guide. Truth is your guide. You see, apocalyptic for me always meant very positive, very good future. So may your hearts be lifted up. Have hope, have faith, and as you wake up every day, look at this day from God's perspective. There is a lot of goodness, there is a lot to accomplish during this day. May God bless you, my friends. May God give you beautiful days on our beautiful planet Earth. And I guess we will see each other next time. God bless you. Bye.